This is the Weather Channel. How do you hear me?
We hear you loud and clear. Welcome aboard the International Space Station. We're ready for your questions.
Excellent. Here we go. Well, a special treat for you right now. Joining us from the International Space Station are engineers Tracy Caldwell-Dyson and Doug Wheelock. Both of you, thanks for joining us. I've got to ask you, we've been watching down here on Earth, the tropics so active. What's the view like from the International Space Station?
I'll tell you, the view's spectacular, and I think Wheels has been watching it this morning. He probably has more descriptive words.
Well, this morning we actually flew between Julia and Igor, coming up through the Atlantic, and it was just spectacular. Looked out either side of the cupola windows, and of course you could tell the relative size. You could tell which one was Igor, and it's just really, really dramatic. It's yesterday we had a pass directly over Igor, and I almost let go of my camera as so my breath was taken. Looking into the eye of the storm, it just looked like a waterfall going in down through the eye. We could see the Atlantic clearly through the eye of the storm. It was just absolutely stunning.
Have either of you ever seen images like that before?
Actually, on my previous flight, STS-118, our mission was cut short by Hurricane Dean, and while we were in orbit, we flew right over the eye of the hurricane and saw the same image that Doug is describing to you, right down the center of the eye. And it almost looks very, very calm compared to what it must be like on the ground.
And for me, that was the first time really. I mean, this vantage point is, it's so surreal when you're looking down through it, because like Tracy had mentioned, it looks so peaceful and so calm, and it's so beautiful, the spiral bands and everything. And then you look down and just sort of project yourself to being below those clouds, and you can only imagine what chaos and torment is going on underneath those clouds. And so it's a pretty surreal experience.
Now, Tracy, we know that you'll be returning home soon. How closely do you monitor the weather, and do you think that the tropics will have any impact on your return flight?
You know, I know there's a lot of folks back home that are preparing for my return, and I have to trust that they're looking out for those kinds of things. And I'd have to say that the weather in Kazakhstan is probably a lot clearer than it is en route to Houston. But I trust that the folks that are picking me up are the ones that are looking out for that.
Tracy, I'm going to ask you, specifically since you're returning home in just really a matter of hours, what's it going to be like your last day on the space station?
Oh, I fear it's going to be a little emotional. This is such an incredible vehicle that we have. That doesn't even come close to stating what a work of art this is. To be a part of something like this that's so enormous, the only venture of its kind, and the fact that it was put together, designed, and run by all of our international partners is something I don't know, huge. It's bigger than I am, and to be engulfed by something like that, it's hard to let go of. So I imagine it's going to be a little emotional.
Doug, for you, we know that the NASA program is changing direction a little bit. We know that the shuttle program is not going to be going any further. What are your thoughts on the future of NASA?
Well, my thoughts as I look ahead for our kids and our grandkids to what we'll see in the next 50 years. NASA has never seemed to disappoint. You know, when we get at a crossroads, when we're between programs or are designing a new vision to explore maybe a little further out, you know, there is a point of where will we go next? What will we do next? And I think over the next couple of years, as we see a lot of return on science that we're beginning to really start to do 100% now on the space station, and we understand how to bring these things back, how to make life better on Earth, and through that research, how to better optimize projecting ourselves further out into the solar system, and maybe back to the moon, maybe to Mars. It's very, very exciting. Just the unknown and how NASA is going to respond to that in our future vision. And I know it's going to be spectacular. It's never disappointed us as we came out of the Apollo program and we wondered, well, what next? And then the shuttle program was only just a dream at that point, and an impossible dream at that. And now here we find ourselves in the twilight of the shuttle era, and we're looking at the space station to be a platform to help us in research and develop new materials and develop new ways in propulsion to try to take us deeper and further. And I think our kids and our grandkids are in for just a thrilling and fascinating future with NASA. So the change is not always bad, and so we're certainly sad to see the space shuttle go. It's been a workhorse for the NASA space program, and but I think there are bigger and better things to come, and I think it's going to be a very, very exciting future for our kids and our grandkids.
The International Space Station is truly international. What's it been like working with your Russian counterparts?
I have to say that when I first arrived, we also had Suichi on board from Japan, and also Naoko, who joined us during STS-131. And it's been a joy to be a truly international crew all the way through the time that I've been here. It's great. You learn a lot about their culture. You learn a lot about your own, and the same goes true for your own personality and how you adapt and incorporate yourself into a new culture. We've been training and being friends with our Russian crewmates well before we arrived on the space station, and it's just been I think a warm experience to live now on board, to work together as a team, to face these challenges that we have, everything from the daily schedule to the big things like a pump module failing. It's been a lesson for all of us and a joy, and also challenging at times to understand one another, but we always make it work, and body language does go a long way, as well as hand gestures if we ever get to a point where we don't find the right words. But it's for myself, it's been very rewarding. I think we all feel that way.
Well, then I have to ask you, you've been on the space station for a while now. Are there any modern conveniences of home that you don't have on the International Space Station that you wish you had?
There are a lot of those. One is running water. I sure miss. Haven't had a shower since June 15th, and so I suppose I'm looking forward to that when I come back. I still have a few more months, but we have ways to take care of our personal hygiene. But you know, on occasion you do miss some warm water running over your body so you can clean yourself. So that's probably the number one modern convenience that I miss.
Well,
the other thing go ahead.
No, go ahead. Please continue your thought.
We were just sort of laughing. Sorry if we threw you for a loop there. But the other thing that we really miss, that I miss, your sense of smell sort of fades away a little bit. I think it sort of goes into hibernation, because this place is like a laboratory, so everything is pretty sterile, and it's the smell of machinery running, you know, like computers and things like that. And so I think that that in turn affects your sense of taste, and so the aromas and things like that. So I really miss, and Tracy had just mentioned, the smell of fresh coffee, and also the smell of when you're walking outside of a restaurant and you smell the food cooking and things like that. Those are smells that they tend to fade into like distant memory when you come here to the space station. One thing that was really neat, we had a Progress resupply vehicle that docked this past weekend. And one of the things on the top, we opened the hatch and we had fresh fruits and vegetables in there. And I never dreamed that an apple, like through the skin, could actually smell so good. But it smells that you miss like that. That's really the smell of life, the smell of the earth, that you miss as well. And so that was a real treat, getting some fresh fruit and vegetables.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the event. Thank you.